Good morning, everyone. We are trusting that everything is unfolding beautifully this morning, even with the little blips of technological blips. So take a breath. Just take a moment. Take a breath. And let this beautiful chime, this beautiful moment of this one breath be the gift and the blessing. As we enter this morning's celebration. So take another breath. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My topic this morning is Your Heart Knows. And what I want to talk about is listening. Are you listening to your heart and what it knows? And when you are listening, what do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you know? So I'm going to dive into that and give you some tips on the 5 S's. My name is Frankie Timmers. I'm the Spiritual Director of Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And I am very grateful to be a student of the Science of Mind and a teacher as well. We invite you to interact with us. There's a new bubble. It's the care one, the hug one. And let us know whether you love this broadcast, whether you can hear us, whether you have questions, comments, or anything else. And whether you can relate. So today we have a special guest. We're back to having our practitioners join us. And we have Theo Tilton, licensed practitioner at Center for Spiritual Living, opening today with a guided meditation and a spiritual mind treatment. Welcome, Theo. Glad you're here.
Thank you. And we'll start with a meditation. So, right now, in the silence, knowing that there is only one heart, we go within and we feel the heart. Right from the center of our being, feeling the heart beat from within. There is something already there, a truth that your heart already knows. And in this space, we listen. We listen to our heart. And so how beautiful and wonderful it is to always bring ourselves right into the present moment, bringing forth the awareness of our heart. There is a place where we are so protected and safe, and the heart knows this to be true. And I anchor this right here and right now with an affirmative prayer. There is only one heart. There is only one mind. My very breath breathes into this space, living its life through us, as me, the I am of the I am. This omniscient wisdom everywhere present is the presence of the heart. This all-knowingness, this place of peace, this field of possibility, knowing that the heart is the force, the driving force, the energetic space for all things to be listened to from a place of wisdom, from a place of truth. And so today, during this virtual Sunday celebration, in these times, right here, in this moment, in this omnipresent moment, I speak a special word of listening, of opening, of energetic vibration, knowing that the words spoken here today through the airwaves of the interweb, knowing that the knowledge and the truth of whatever is to be spoken is brought forth from Spirit, through us and as us, is listened to through the ears of the heart, resonating with any truth spoken here today, knowing it is already done. There is now a space of heart filled with gratitude, overflowing out into every community, throughout our families, throughout every county and every state and every country across this planet. This is the moment right now. How grateful I am. I release it. I let it go, knowing that this Sunday is already whole and complete and already done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Theo.
Thank you.
Bye. So here we are. Thank you so much, Theo. Tilton, Living Morristown. So the topic today is Your Heart Knows. The theme for the month, we're back to the theme for the month, is listen to your heart. And look at our beautiful journal that we are using again, that many of you have, the beautiful CSL journal. So my question is, are you listening? Are you listening to your heart? Are you listening to the global heart, the heart of the world? So today I want to talk about listening, and I want to talk about what happens when we're not listening, and then how can we experience deeper listening. So when you're listening to your heart, when you're listening to the global heart, the heart of the world, what are you hearing? Are you hearing, feeling the suffering that it's happening? And are you allowing yourself to feel that instead of shut off from it? Are you listening to the longing of humanity, the longing for safety, survival, peace, health? In the Science of Mind teaching, we teach that that longing is for something inner instead of something outer. Of course, it's natural to long for the basics: food, shelter, clothing, connection. But in our teaching, we know that any longing cannot really be fulfilled from the outside. It's fulfilled from the inside, and then it is added unto us like it's an attraction. So the longing then and the listening is a deeper thing. It's an inner thing. It's an inner way of being fulfilled first. So when I am listening, I am hearing this longing. I am hearing this need for deeper connection to ourselves, to each other, to the divine. I am feeling that desire to express love, because that's really what it is, what it comes down to, love. And I have these 5 S's that move through me and move in my mind. The S of simplicity, a longing for a simpler way of being and living. The longing for silence, even though we might be distracted and have a lot of chatter going on, that longing to just be still inside and have that chatter take a break. The longing for solitude, which is not loneliness, solitude of just being present with ourselves. The S of stillness, just stop moving, just be still physically and allow the silence to follow. And slow down. This desire to really slow down is definitely there. So I have this lovely book that is kind of my secondary Bible. It's my book, my go-to besides the Science Mind textbook, and it's called For the Love of the Real, A Story of Life's Mystical Secret by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee, and I want to read a little section on silence. However constricted the outer world, the energies of oneness are alive in silence. In the silence underneath every sound, present in the space around every atom, a silence saturated with the real. Silence is singing with love. There is love that exists in forms, sounds, and activities. We feel its presence in beauty, are touched by its joy. But there is also love present in emptiness, in silence, in space. A love that doesn't require recognition, that just is. The mystic is absorbed by this love that at once takes her into the infinite and grounds her in the web of life. For silence is an open passageway between the worlds. Through spiritual practices like meditation or watching the breath, mystics become familiar in this silence. It happens quite naturally that we dwell in silence, for silence pervades the depth in which the mystic dives again and again. This silence is undefined and speaks to us of the undefined vistas of our being and the greater mystery that pervades everything. Even when the mind is busy, one becomes aware that underneath the activity of the mind, there is stillness. One becomes more and more present, resting there. So the silence becomes the hidden foundation of life. Rumi wrote this of silence: out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. So, are you listening to your heart? Are you listening to the global heart? I know that some people can't because they are overwhelmed right now. The people on the front line, the essential workers, maybe don't have the privilege that you and I do, or some of you and I. And so that is deeply understanding, and they are always in my prayers, in my treatments, in my heart. Some say they can't, but it means they won't, because we all can listen more deeply to the heart. I think that's the call right now. So we get to explore the resistance. What is the resistance to really listening to our heart, to the global heart, to being centered in the heart? I think for some it's grief, because when we feel grief, we feel like it's a never-ending river that will just suck us out of life. For some it's fear. If I have to listen to my heart, I have to listen to fear and anxiety that I'm experiencing right now. For some it's doubt, because we don't know what's going to happen next. For some it's distraction, because there's so much happening and so much news and so much to do and so many different things to take care of. And for some, it's what we identify with. So the question is, do you identify with your essential beingness, Or do you identify with the doubt and the fear and the chatter and the distraction and the news? We have to decide what our true identity is. And we know on the spiritual path that our true identity is spirit within, is our essential beingness. That which always was, always will be, is right now. Our true nature, which is full of love. Our hearts are naturally full and overflowing with love, always and in all ways, whether we think it, believe it, or not, because that's the truth. And it's the center of our being where the mind, the body, and the soul meets. That very lively place that we must stay centered in. And that's why we have spiritual practices. We have our spiritual practices so that we can practice that deeper listening, that being centered in the heart. And so whether that's prayer, spiritual mind treatment, meditation, yoga, being in nature, we all must make time for spiritual practice. And the beauty is, most of us have more time now. And so I personally find that I long for the stillness, the silence, the simplicity, the slowdown, the solitude, because that's where I find my source, my deeper connection. And then I get to live from that or choose to live from that. When I meditate, I wait until I feel the pulse of my heart. And in that pulse, I find my sustenance. This allows me to be love in the world. So remember that in spiritual practices, we are to listen to the heart, to listen to the voice of truth, to listen to our true self, our essential self, not just for ourselves, but for the world. It is Rumi who said, let your heart be silently drawn to that which is calling to you. Let your heart be silently drawn to that which is calling to you. And you know what? Your spiritual practices are not just for you, for your evolution. When you and I do our spiritual practices, we have to remember that we're doing them as a contribution to the world and the healing that wants to take place. So if it's difficult for you to do, or you're distracted, or you say you can't, don't do it for yourself. Do it for someone else, someone you know who's suffering, somebody who's on the front lines that you know or have seen on TV or heard of on or seen on Facebook. To really know that your spiritual practices are also your contribution, your service to the world. And to those who can't, to those who won't, to those who are struggling. So I want to close with another reading, and then I'm going to share a couple of things that are happening at our center, and then I will close with a healing treatment. This is also from For Love of the Real by Llewellyn Von Lee. It says, all that is needed is that we recognize the larger dimension of spiritual work and no longer focus on just our individual inner journey or our own spiritual well-being. We live the whole cycle of the breath, understanding that the whole of life needs renewal, and we are willing to be used for this purpose, to be of service in this way. This shift is not so easy for seekers who have identified spiritual work solely with the image of self-development or the individual journey home. But our world is crying out for the energy of the real. Our spiritual journey is part of the earth's journey. Our breath is the breath of life. Spiritual life is about a wholeness that includes all of creation. The light of oneness can banish the illusion of separation and help humanity to see the web of life of which we are a part. So, listen to your heart. Listen to the global heart. Surrender that which is in the way and deepen your listening, your connection with the divine. So I want you to know that we have a website, www.cslmorristown.org, and there's a place for you to give. If you have, we welcome your donation so that we can continue to do this work online. There's information about some of our events. We're still working on doing a better job on our website. Check out Meetup, Twitter, Facebook. We have a group page and a public page. We have, of course, Instagram, and call us if you need anything at 973-539-3114. And we have a new mindfulness series coming up. Look on Facebook. We're posting it regularly. It's every Wednesday evening at 6:30 in May. And also be sure to sign up for that so we can send you the Zoom link. Gail Belluardo is starting a class on May 11th. I'm not sure if there's still space, but you can try. It's called Self-Mastery, Emergence of the True Self. And we have book group, we have yoga. So let us know if there's anything else you would love to see from us. Let's close with a healing treatment. Right here, right now, I am the listening ear, literal and figurative. And I listen to the voice of spirit, to the heartbeat of the universe. I am deeply connected to this and living from it. I allow anything that's in the way to be dissolved right now. It's effortless and filled with grace because I say it is so. I let the law provide for me and guide me on what is mine to be and do in the world. I celebrate and dedicate my spiritual practices to the global life and know that I make a difference. In the beauty of this breath, this moment, I feel myself centered in the heart of the universe and realize once again how blessed I am. And so it is, and so it shall forever be. Much love. Be well, be safe, be healthy, and see you soon.